Hello and welcome to Decorate It. My name is Mary and this is Wes. And tonight it's episode 31. It's a Halloween edition because Halloween is next week.
No, week after.
Oh yeah, the week after. We wouldn't have been. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks away. I'm trying to make it sooner than it really is supposed to be. But obviously we're not going to be on for Halloween, so we decided to do Halloween prior to Halloween. So getting spooky season. Woohoo! As you can see, Wes is featuring our lovely new shark hat that I found at Spirit Halloween, which will be going with us next year to ICAST to hang out with Chelsea and her dad because we always trade back and forth these crazy hats. And I can finally contribute to the crazy hats. I'm pretty sure she already has a shark, but I found a shark. And
This one's pretty awesome.
I'm loving the shark. So I'm going to be on this new agenda of trying to find cool ocean themed hats. So if anybody sees any, let me know because I'm going to start collecting them. We asked Southern and also Instagram contributed this time too. Woot woot. Halloween themed stuff. I was really just looking for colors, typically like Joker colors or like orange and black, obviously, and just looking for wraps or grips or the themes or anything of that. We didn't have that many contributed tonight, probably because Halloween isn't something that a lot of people get asked to do on their rods, and I think everybody was taking it pretty straightforward. It had to be Halloween oriented. Well, skull and crossbones would have worked. Any of that kind of stuff, red and black, like I totally would have taken all of those things. But it's okay, because tonight what we're going to do is we're going to kind of talk about themed rods a little bit, especially ones I kind of want to do that's geared towards spooky season, and also do a Q&A with you guys. So you guys get to ask us questions rod building related, kind of have a laid back, chill little shindig tonight, because we were prepared to have this one be why you should be attending rod building classes or gatherings, because we would have been getting back from Mudhole. Unfortunately, Milton decided to rearrange that schedule, so
Damn hurricane.
we are definitely, we've had our fair share down here on the East Coast. Tentatively, they're looking in January to reschedule the advanced classes.
End of January, 1st of February.
It is not ironed in stone yet, so I can't really announce the dates. They're still trying to make that work, but it will get rescheduled. If you had tickets for it and you can't make it during the next time that they do schedule it, they're going to be doing refunds and things of that nature. So maybe those that wanted to go, maybe you can clear up the calendar and you can make it in January if that's when they have it. Like I said, that's all very tentative. Do not take that written in stone because it's not there yet. So yeah, Halloween edition. What kind of have you done? You've done one that was orange and black.
Yeah,
right?
it was orange and black. It was like the second rod I built, actually.
You had the variegated thread on it, didn't you?
Yeah, I had variegated Sunrise from Fishhawk while I did a orange and black kind of split diamond open wrap on it. The Fuji, the plate seat with orange and black wrapping it, and then black shrink tube.
Mm-hmm. It looks good. The only reason why I didn't enter into the pictures tonight is because that finish on it is old.
It has been ate away by salt water.
And it's pretty dingy looking, and I don't think you even took a picture of it when you built it originally, so we don't have a very pretty picture of it, but it is here, and it is orange and black. But I think the only thing I've really done Halloween oriented is there's a couple wraps that I did that were kind of orange and black, and I had one that was purple and green that kind of would worked for Hulk or the Joker, but
if you open it up to Day of the Dead, then
well, yeah, I put the sugar skulls in tonight because Day of the Dead, even though that's November 2nd, skulls, Halloween. A lot of people now are dressing up for the sugar skulls, and the decorations and stuff come out now, so it's kind of accepted that it kind of gets put into the 31st. Theme rods that I would love to do in the future, I'm dying to do Nightmare Before Christmas, something with Jack and Sally.
Or Oogie Boogie.
Or Oogie Boogie. Even the three kids. I can't remember their names right now. I'd love to do something for that kind of theme. I'd love to do the Joker and Harley. I'd love to do Hulk, honestly.
Buster.
I've already got Hulk Buster.
You ain't done yet. You're going on 10 years
now. The rest
now.
of my life. No, I want to do Hulk, actual Hulk. I found some really cool, like I'm always on Pinterest looking through the images, and I've seen some really awesome black and whites of like the angry Hulk face. It'd be funny to be able to put the scene of Hulkbuster with Hulk.
Yeah.
With the go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. I'd love to be able to figure out how to do that. Dragons.
You could probably do a holographic decal as it turns. It's punching him.
Oh, that would be fun, right?
Yeah.
To try to figure out how to make the movement.
Yep.
And go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do. I have a laundry list running inside one of these notebooks of all these ideas that I have and things that I would love to try or build eventually. And sometimes people come along and tick it off for me, and most of the time I just have to just do it and just see if I can sell it. Hey, does anybody want this? Your sugar skulls are perfect. Yes, thank you. I always honor them every time the Day of the Dead comes up. I'm not going to say it in the Spanish version because I murder that.
Dia de los Muertos.
Muerto is just muertos.
She can't.
I can't do it. Like it's terrible.
I tried to tell her a little bit of Arabic that I've been learning, and it sounded like the most southern, drawn out version
I'm terrible
I've
with
ever
language.
heard.
Terrible with language. I can barely speak my own half the time. But we have a new light. You like our new microphone for the podcast? Wes found it. We had to run to Hobby Lobby because Mary screwed up something. Let me start from the beginning. I traced this. I've been tracing for about an hour to do the Pavlo helicopter for somebody. Somebody requested me to do a burn on just a wood slab for a Christmas present, and just tracing. But I forgot to put the carbon in the tracing paper, flipped. And so I've been tracing for no reason. So I was like, oh, great. Let me see if I can make up some lost time and try this like print on there, and then I can just, make up time and burn, and I'll have a better exact image and stuff. And I got it on there. It worked, but I put it on there slightly crooked, and I could have rotated the wood, but the slice I had like a slightly oblong little area, and so like if you rotated it, it looked weird, and I was like, so I was like, oh, no big deal. I'll just take some acetone and try to rub it off. It didn't budge. So I was like, all right, let's try ice purple. It didn't budge. And my oldest is in here going, what's wrong, Mom? And I'm like, I can't get the ink off. And so I started Googling, like, how do you take the ink? To be able to take it off with acetone and ice purple. And then it was like, oh, make a baking soda paste. And I said, no, I'm not doing all that. I'll just sand it off. Yeah, that didn't work either. I just sanded the wood. It's still on there, but now it's a grimy kind of gray mess. And so I was like, I need to get more wood. So I was like, Wes got home, and I was like, we're going to Hobby Lobby. And as we're making a beeline straight for the things, Wes is like, hey, did you see this? And I was like, oh, that's fun. And I was about to walk off, and then I was like, wait a minute, podcast. That'd be really cool for the podcast. He's like, yes, that's why I pointed it out. So that's how we acquired that light, because Mary screwed up, and Karma just said you needed to have a light to make you happy to get past your wood dilemma. But I bought 4 more slices of wood just in case I decided to screw them up again, and a lot more tracing paper because I was running low. We're going to try again. Let's take a look at what Southern and one person from Instagram contributed. David Alexander. So the lizard skin with a dragon eye, red and black, very Halloweenish.
Kind of looks like cobwebs on the marbling.
I'm enjoying seeing other people like trying some leather skins and stuff on rods. And I believe, I'm pretty sure that was, did he marble that one on there?
Looks like it.
No, that's the one that he did flat and he put it back.
Ah, gotcha. I see it now.
Yeah. He picked a trick from my book and marbled that flat, let it dry, and then stuck it on there. Because Mary can't marble on a rod. Wes can, but Mary can't. And I do it flat, so I have more control over it. What's that clown from It? Need to start that. Oh, Pennywise. I can't do Pennywise. I can't do clowns. It gave me nightmares for far too long. Don Schaefer, blood splatters on paint, which those splatters look legit. That looks like actual blood splatters.
Kind of looks like right as you cut your hand today.
Right? And this was the one that was for Warren. So that's Jason. Warren asked him to base that rod painting in the real seat off of that. And I think it's perfect, even with the tone of the kind of brownish kind of tan on there.
Yeah.
James Ormsby III got to do Nightmare Before Christmas rod.
Those weaves.
Yep, so he's weaved Oogie Boogie and Zero. Every time I say Oogie, I just want to be like that his song when he's doing his dance down there. Poor old Santa Claus is scared to death. But that's really good. But I want to do one that's kind of like Jack and Sally, like split the rod. I'd love to figure out how to do that, like all the way up.
That sounds like a Don Schaefer problem.
I'm talking about grips, wrap. I'm talking about all that. All right, so Lori came in showing how to do blood splatters with UV reactive pigment. But it was for this particular rod, and they wanted kind of like blood splatters all over it. And once it was out in the sun for a little bit, so you can actually use these pigments that react to the sunlight and stuff to change it. And then the blood splatters on the rest of it. Like, that kind of turned out cool. I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah.
And then Skull and Crossbones. I mean, that's straight up Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Makes me think of the Joker face from the newer one.
It's a very kind of like very open mouth skull, kind of with very circular cheekbones. It's almost like who's the guy who wants the Saw face put with the crossbones because of how his face is.
Yeah.
And I asked her for the gunshots ones that she did, the bullets, because that's kind of horror, if you will. I just still think these are really cool. Like, she marbled them on there.
Dang, we should have got Chris to post that one.
Which one?
The one that he put legit, like, someone's blood in it.
Oh, the blood. I should have messaged Chris because he's not on Facebook.
But he did, like, legit blood from somebody on the rod.
It was crushed bones and blood
in
the rod. And, yeah. That one was really cool. I should have messaged him.
A lot of people were creeped out by it.
Yeah, they were.
I enjoyed that rod.
I thought it was amazing. More pictures of the gunshots, bullets, whatever you want to call them. The Joker. I really dig this. That's a great way, that's the printing it, sticking it on there, and mixing all the colors and everything into it. Some more marbling. That's a very legit Joker face, too. Nicely done. Very nicely done, Lori. My first 2 sugar skulls, the green one was my original one that I tried, and then I was working on the foregrip, which is the pink girl. I decided just to give you a flat version of her versus it installed on the rod because I actually didn't get a good picture of that one whenever it was finished anyways. To date, these have been some of my favorite projects to do, and I've had a lot of really fun ones, but I don't know, something about working with the leather and just being able to recreate that image was really cool. Of course, wood burning's kind of getting on there for me, too. And I put this wrap in here because this wrap has always screamed Halloween to me. And some of you guys may recognize it for...
Candy corn.
Right, it could be candy corn too, yeah. Recognized it for the Fire Fade tutorial that's on YouTube. That I need to update because I did it the stupid hard way when I did it this way. And now I have the thread bobbins, and so I don't have to have that little drifting line in the back anymore. So I need to update that.
Get on that.
I know, get on that. But that's very Halloween to me. And I wasn't trying to do Halloween. I was just trying to do something bright. I was kind of going for a fire look is actually what I was doing because the other one to match that was supposed to be ice. But Batman! I had to put these in there.
Mm-hmm.
I made these. These were actually not full-blown grips. Somebody just asked me if I could put inlays into 2 little sections that they could insert into a grip themselves. And we went through a whole bunch of discussion of how to do it and to not, don't sand it down past this point, blah, 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 blah. And I've seen this. It's still in progress. And he did really good with getting them on there. And you can't even tell that it was an extra piece, so it was fun. It was fun to do Batman. I really like the yellow and black one the best, the traditional one instead of like the dark gray one. I didn't have a gray that was light enough to make it really stand out at the time. And then the yellow sugar skull. This is the flat one. This is actually the very first one that I did. I had to toss this one and do another one. I couldn't find that other one, and it's not even finished in this photo because the inside of the sunflowers aren't even finished. I had that dyed darker, but the sugar skulls were just a big part of me trying stuff, and obviously Day of the Dead, Halloween, big fan. This one, a customer asked me to do, and when he approached me about doing sugar skulls in EVA, I didn't think I would be able to do it, but luckily with the Cricut and a lot of patience and a lot of time, there's over, I believe I think it was over 300 and something individual pieces inlaid into this one. So it was a lot of details, but it turned out really, really nice in my opinion. Super challenging. Freshwater grips. On top of that. This is why I was saying I hope that Rick contributed tonight because that's Michael Myers. But I think Rick, when he was working on these, oh man, just the face, the black and white, love it.
Mm-hmm.
That is legit. You know exactly who that is. And then you add in just the single kind of blood drip with the knife. It's all done very nicely. These are some of my favorite ones I've seen him do. And if anybody's watched any of the live videos or tutorials and stuff that I've done, Rick is also somebody that's helped me. He's taught me a couple of things on how to do stuff to not get so sticky fingers, or how cling wrap is amazing at helping getting this stuff sunk in there. So big thank you to Rick for sharing his knowledge as well. And then Steven. So Steven is the gentleman that is from Instagram. And I don't know what his last name is. I just know it's Steven. And his handle is Jig Junkies. Forgot to ask him what his last name was. But orange and black. Nice little dragon scale. A lot of inlays. Very nicely done. It's a better picture of his guide wrap. It's an olive branch variation, but very nicely done. Another one of his, black and orange. He works with a lot of metallic, man. I would not be doing all those little inlays and stuff underneath the foot with metallics. Not a fan. Can't work with it. And then this one, obviously this is for a hockey team, but I mean, it kind of fits. We'll just pretend that that's a scary one. So, Nate, I do them both ways, okay? The graffiti set, all of those were done by making the inlay and then carving out a hole and dropping the inlay into it, okay? The sugar skulls you just saw, that's too complicated to try to dig all that stuff out and do it. Now, yeah, I sure could have, but it would have taken me a year to work on that grip because I would have had to make sure placement and everything was perfect. Not to mention step by step of having to cut all these different holes and stuff out. So I made that one flat on a sheet and I wrapped it around. So depending on the inlay, depends on how I do it. And whatever is going to be better time frame for the consumer, because obviously time is money. Not a big fan of charging people extra just because it's going to take me a lot of time. So we discuss the options and I let them pick what they want. But majority, if I can, like Elsa was sink it all in. The Phoenix was sink it all in. The graffiti was sink it all in. The Bengals grips was sink it in. I'm trying to remember everything that I've done. So I've done quite a handful of those. The Batman ones were sink it in because they actually had, on the other side was the exact duplicate. So there was 2 of them. So you can do it both ways. Obviously doing it flat and wrapping it, it's a lot easier, but at the same time, you're going to have a seam. And you're not going to be able to hide it. Black is about the only one that I will do the seams in. So if you see a lot of black grips, it's probably got a seam in it. The flag was an overlay, if you will, just because black is easier to hide for me. Some people have mastered at hiding that seam better than I can. I'm not there yet. And I won't do it on lighter colors. So if somebody comes to me and they want something crazy on a white grip, I'm going to have to charge them to sink it in there because I'm not going to give them a seam because it'll pick up all of the nasty sanding dust and stuff. So both ways. Glue, Duncan, is contact cement, the Weldwood brand.
Probably something you can't get in Australia.
It is the red can. I believe Barge is something that they're using over there, if I remember correctly. Basically, your contact cement, whatever you're using, needs to be kind of waterproof to an extent. So there's different variations of it. I believe Barge is what other people were using because even the leather workers use a lot of that as well. And their stuff is obviously out in the elements. Is there any themed rods that you'd like to do? Not necessarily for Halloween, but like Hulkbuster was definitely one of your kind of themed ones. But you had mentioned the Silver Surfer at one point. And
yeah, but we were going to do that on that fly rod.
Yeah, we changed our minds because we had birch bark on it. But I didn't know if there's any other things that you kind of had an idea to. I want to do a transformer rod.
A lot of mine would be too controversial to put on the inner tubes.
I want to figure out how to do a transformer rod. That one's been kind of in the back of my head for a couple years. I've actually been thinking about that since the Transformer movies have been out. Like the first one came out, I'm like, man, I need to do a rod like that. Figure out how to make it kind of mechanical looking without it being mechanical.
Would you actually make it transform?
Oh, I'd love to be able to figure out how to do that, but I'm not an engineer. I don't want to be able to sit there and I'd have to find something that I could manipulate to do that.
Make it out of Legos.
A Lego rod. That'd be funny. Let's talk about our product of the night. So our product of the night is actually a challenge for you guys. It is the Mudhole Rod Building Challenge. And this is taking place at the International Custom Rod Building Challenge because obviously American Tackle was running it and Foundation has now basically over American Tackle and Mudhole. Therefore, it has now become Mudhole Rod Building Challenge. If you enter into the challenge, you get a chance to place in first, second, or third. First place gets $1,500 worth of store credit at Mudhole. Second place gets $750, and third place gets $500. There is more info on their sites. I've posted it as well. The blank this year is by Cashin. It's a 3-piece. That's all I'm allowed to tell you. The challenge is to take this blank, it's a 3-piece, and build it at least using 50% of the blank for your new one. So once you go through what to use it for, what kind of thing you want to design, you start making it. You can paint it. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the website about the rules and stuff. And at the expo in February, top 10 will be announced. So we are going to be bringing our rods. I did see them there because originally it said that they were due by February 3rd. That's if you don't live in the country or you're not going to be able. You're not going to be able to show up. I did read on there this afternoon that if you're coming to the expo, instead of shipping your rod to a Vito to Mudhole, you can actually bring it with you to the ICRBE and hand it over, just like we've had to do in the past. So that's great if you're going to be there. They're going to announce the top 10 then. Everybody else gets to take their rods home. Once the top 10 has been announced, then you can post on social media about what you built. Because top 10's already been announced. It's fine. Top 10 will go back to a Vito, and then the top 3 will get announced on a Mudhole Live at some point. I don't remember when that date is going to be done. So I enjoy the challenge, and I implore you to try to do the challenge. That's actually where Wes and I started really excelling, if you will, because we started to challenge ourselves with trying stuff that we normally wouldn't do with the clientele that we were getting people like from, because our customers, probably like you guys, have customers that are pretty set in stone. You know, they want this, they want this, they want this, and they don't really want to think outside the box kind of stuff. And we didn't get a chance to challenge ourselves to try new things until we started doing these rods, these for the challenges, and it's a lot of fun. I'd love to place this year. We haven't placed in top 10 or top 5 or top 3 in the entire time that we've been building. So mine are always a little too outside the box, I think. So I need to kind of tone it down this year. Maybe. We'll see. Try it. Join it. It's really cool. You get discount on supplies too, like after you get the blank.
Nate said you should make it telescopic for your transformer rod.
Yeah, it would be.
I know a guy.
Yep. I know a guy too. But for it to be telescopic for me and it to be kind of transformer, I'd have to figure out a way to wire it to push a button that'd go do by itself.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
It might. You don't know. Just have to kind of think about it. Alice has come
You
up
have
with
to
some
like
crazy
lock
stuff.
them in place. No, it's not gonna happen.
Alice has come up with crazier stuff.
Nate, so they do a 3-piece for shipping purposes because they literally ship them around the world.
Yeah.
And trying to ship a 1-piece from anywhere in Europe back over here after they've shipped it there, it's not worth it for people to enter.
No, it gets too expensive. Last few years, it's been 2 or 3 pieces.
It's been 3-piece for several years.
Yeah.
Prior to it being 3-piece, it was you pick what blank you want.
God, that was like 7 years ago.
Do it that way.
It was like 7 or 8 years ago. We got to pick our blank, and then we only got to pick our blank one time that we've entered into it. But we've entered it into the challenge every single year. Minus, I didn't enter in for 21 because we had so much going on. No, it was 22 when it was being judged, but I didn't have a rod that year because 21 was just too much for me. So, but it's fun. You get to try new stuff. You get to handle blanks and things that you really don't normally put your hands on, you know. We're going to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Foundation Outdoor Group. We have a couple announcements for that. Obviously, the Mudhole Rod Building Challenge is going to be, it's on, it's live. Get your blanks, get in the challenge. Challenge yourself to be awesome. Also, they're going to have a Dragon Scale Mudhole live video on 10/22 at 6:30 p.m., which is going to be awesome because Dragon Scales, learning how to do that. And what's also crazy is that Tuesday, Wes and I are actually going to be on another podcast at 8 p.m., same night. So clear your calendars on Tuesday because first you're going to watch Mudhole.
And it's not our podcast.
And it's not our podcast. We're invited on somebody else's podcast. But Tuesday night, it is going to be Mudhole doing decorative dragon scales at 6:30 p.m. And
yes.
Then 8 o'clock, Wes and I are actually going to be on.
Called Beyond the Ramp.
Yep, it's called Beyond the Ramp. That is by Warren Page at Power Core Rods. We're actually going to be on at 8 o'clock with him. Hopefully Mudhole's done. Sometimes they run a little late. If they're not, come watch us. We're going to be chit-chatting about all kinds of stuff. Not really rod building, but kind of just fun stories and how we got into this and where we're at and all that other stuff. So I've watched a couple excerpts from his things and it's just laughing the whole time. So that's going to be pretty fun. But I do want to thank Foundation Outdoor Group. One, I'm so happy that everybody made it through Milton and there was no issues and everybody was safe, and the advanced rod building classes will be held
sometime next year.
Calendar is too packed at this point of the year for them to be able to move it in before, and they also want to be able to allow people to have enough time to reschedule flights and get hotel rooms and stuff like that. So tentatively it's looking about January, beginning of February, possibly. Don't hold me to it right now, but that's just the last thing I've heard in the grapevine. And if you did purchase tickets to go to the one that we just missed this past weekend, then and you can't make it to the next one, you will get refunded for that. Just be in contact with them. They're trying their best to accommodate everybody, which out of 70-something people, that's really hard. You know, we all had it set for October, and now we've got to move it around, so just be patient with them. It's coming. But I am very happy that everybody was safe and made it through, and Mudhole is still... They came back 2 days, like, what, they had
Day or two later.
a day or two later, started shipping stuff out, like, immediately, and even with the phones weren't working there for a couple days, which was bad.
We needed to place an order, and I called Mudhole, and it's like, call cannot be completed. It's dialed.
And so they were posting that they couldn't get it through, and we're like,
Like,
oh,
wait a minute.
man, it's good. You're fine. Like, you just went through a storm. It's good. Great company, and they care about their people, and that's not what, you know, a lot of people can say nowadays when they work for big companies. So at this point, we're going to open up to Q&A for anything that you guys want to talk about. When do you know that your contact cement is bad and you need to throw it out, or can you add fresh to an extended life? Don't add to it. Don't mix it.
Don't mix.
It is going bad when it starts to gel up. Now, you can use it for a little bit longer as the gel, but I will tell you from experience that when you first open that can, and the majority of use of that can, as soon as you dip it in, it's immediately dripping down, right? It's like, it's legit liquid. As it starts to go bad because the air getting into it, or you're leaving the can open for too long, like I've done in the past, it starts to get thicker. If the thicker part is still going on the EVA or whatever you're gluing, and it's still doing a thin coat, and it's not leaving like an extra kind of like jelly looking coat to it, you're still good. But the biggest thing is when it starts to gel up, as soon as you slap those two pieces together, try to prime apart, because that's really going to, if it will pull apart, don't use it. It's already kicked off. Because there was one time where I had a grip that I was working on, and I was pushing the limit of that contact cement, because I was like, man, it's starting to get thick, but I think it's okay. I slapped them together. I didn't stress the joint that night. I came back the next day, so it sat overnight, 8 hours or something like that, and I went to squish it together to really press on the seam again, and it slid. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Basically, as soon as it starts to gel up and get really thick, that's when it's starting to not be at its best. But I would don't try to thin it. Don't try to add new to it. You can look into pouring what you're going to use into a different container and make sure your bigger one stays sealed. Basically, the best thing to do, I use the gallon ones because it's more cost effective for me, even though that one is dumb expensive at this point. But if you pour it into a smaller jar and then make sure the bigger one stays sealed, you're going to keep it a lot longer than if you leave the jar open the entire time you're gluing. For small projects, leaving the jar open and just, putting the lid on back and forth, it's not as big of a deal. But if you're gluing grips, like I have been some days where I've spent a good 2 hours working with the glue, that's 2 hours that can's wide open because I'm dipping, going. And I prefer to try to pour it off into something else and keep the majority of it its best. I do not keep it in the fridge. It actually is sitting underneath Wes right now under the table. So it stays in, we are climate controlled in here because of the mini split, and it usually is somewhere between 70 and 72 in this room year round. Some nights we crank it up if we're trying to get epoxy to dry really quick.
Some nights we forget the heat and it drops down to 50. You come in and you go,
That doesn't happen as often anymore because I'm usually in here pretty late at night. And now, if it's at like 70 running all night and it drops down to 40 out here, it's cold. It's cold in here. But I'm trying to keep it on automatic now so that it knows when to cut off. Because if I keep it on 70 and it's running all night, it'll keep pushing out 70 degrees. It's cold.
We typically use one or two styles of hook keepers.
I don't like
One is the squared off bar version. The other is a ringless guide that's about yay big.
We got a couple drawers over there. We actually got them from Mark because Mark had thousands of them.
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold. I personally just don't like them, but I see the need for them. It does keep people from
Carrying up custom grips.
hooking it in their grips, which
Or
if
hooking it in the eye and the bait going.
banging on the rod all the time. I would prefer if we could always have just like that hidden hook keeper, so there's nothing taken away from it. But I do have to confess that on a fly rod where you've picked out a good hook keeper that looks really good on it, it actually does kind of look classy.
Very clean.
I just don't like them.
No, ours does not,
Nope.
Duncan.
These are actually the blocks behind me.
We do not sell the pre-drilled. Mudhole does.
Mudhole has the pre-drilled, but mine are solid all the way through, and they are a higher density. What's been on the market before? I love how it's been pixelated, but my block doesn't look like that. It's not glittery. The lights are just kicking it and making it look weird. They're very, very, very hard. I wanted to up the density because some of the ones that I was using from other suppliers were ripping out and they were really soft. So I've made mine a lot more dense.
Now let me bend it back.
Yeah, bend it back.
Now it's straight.
There'll be 14 more colors to be added to those. Navies, dark greens, green, a solid green, like grass green, if you will. A maroon is coming. I've got a couple
Light
grays.
gray.
I've got like a gold kind of color coming in. It's kind of like a...
It's yellow, but it's gold. It's like if you were coloring with a crayon gold.
No, not like the metallic.
No, crayons don't come in metallic.
Yeah, they do. Don't play with me.
Since when did that flavor come out?
That has been out for a long time. I had the big 96 colored box that had a metallic silver and a metallic gold, and it was legit metallic, even with the pencil sharpener on the back. That's existing. That's existed since we were kids. You just didn't color much when you were a kid. That's been around. That's been around for a long time. The color is more like a mustard, like that dark mustard kind of color, but it's classified as a gold. But it's not the shiny gold. Light blue. I have a Carolina blue coming in. I have like 2 or 3 shades of blue. But there's a navy and there's another blue. I can't remember. I've got a turquoise too, and there's what is that other blue? I can't remember what it is. It's like a medium kind of blue because I have the royal already.
Wasn't like 2 shades of gray coming?
I got 2 shades of gray, lighter gray, darker gray. Not charcoal, but like a medium gray,
Between
like a true
light
gray.
and charcoal.
Like a true gray and then like a lighter gray. There's a hot pink coming. There's a tan, a true tan that is very cork colored. We have a darker orange too. That was the other one.
Yeah.
We have a darker orange. So we've got like a true kind of orange and then we have the darker orange. So there'll be 2 different oranges. Do you have a way to drill without a lathe?
I'm pretty sure depending on what wrapper you can get tailstock adapters and drill bit adapters for the chucks and all. And then you could take the block, cut it down, because I wouldn't recommend doing a full block that way. But then you could cut it down and drill it that way.
Yeah.
And if you're chopping it up and like gonna be making segments, so to speak, anyways,
you could definitely
and doing inlaid pieces, you could just cut it down to what you need and use a drill.
Yeah, like if you make a checkerboard,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you got to do the segments anyways, you just make your checkerboard, cut the segments apart, drill your holes then, and then put it back together. And then you don't have to worry about it. All right, so we are going to wrap it up. Basically, for the Halloween edition, we really could have done a bunch of different things, you know, like blood splatters, obviously, and Michael Myers and Jason and any other horrors. Freddy Krueger would be a cool one, I think, to do. Who are the other main horror guys? Chucky and Ghostface. I mean, there's so many.
You could even do Gremlins.
Gremlins, then go to the fun stuff and where you've got like the kids side of it, where you've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Alice in Wonderland or Elsa or, you know, all the princesses and all of the, you know, Marvel team, Captain America, which our youngest is going as that this year, and then our oldest is being a raptor again. Dinosaurs, you know, like anything you could think of. Candy, you know, somebody could have done a candy corn one, somebody could have just done candy in general, and that could be classified as a Halloween rod. And obviously skulls and ghosts and ghouls and the Joker and but I mean just colors in general, like orange and black. The purple and greens to me, that always just is Hulk or Joker, you know. And then you got Harley. I'm going to do a Harley rod. I want to do a Joker and a Harley, either a set or try to figure out how to incorporate them both on the same rod because I like Harley. Harley's crazy. Batman. I mean, it's so much to do with the superheroes and stuff.
Yep.
What Lori shared with the UV pigment that reacts to the UV light. There's so much of that pigment and that dust and that powder and the liquids now that they have out where they're UV reactive or you can actually touch it, kind of like mood ring stuff. As it heats up, it'll change colors while it's out in the sun. You cool it down. Whenever you wash your rods off, it changes to a different color. Or, you know, you touch it and then it'll change and then it'll come back to its regular color. Like, it's really cool the amount of stuff that's out there that you can kind of incorporate into your rods. And I know a lot of people don't do a lot of theme rods because not a lot of people ask for them. But obviously I put myself in that little itty bitty niche that's within a niche. But those are the most fun builds that I do is working on themes, because then you have to. I always challenge myself to carry it from the butt all the way to the tip somehow. But think about it. Have fun with it. If you join the rod building challenge with Mudhole, maybe you can do a theme rod there. Maybe you can try something out with that one. And if you do enter into it, good luck. And I hope that you place. I hope I place. I just want to be in top 10 one time. One time.
Not be shysted by a judge that doesn't like wraps.
Doesn't like decorative wraps, and give Mary a 0 on her thread work. Like, whoo, that one hurt. That one hurt that day. And then I was like, you know what? No, that wasn't a 0 wrap. That was actually a really good wrap. Thank you very much. I hope that everybody has an awesome and safe Halloween. I hope you get some tricks, maybe some treats, hopefully a lot of treats. We'll chat next time. Hopefully we're either going to do a tutorial or we're going to try to find somebody to invite on.
I think we should invite somebody on.
Yeah, I think we should too.
And I think it should be someone local.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll have to get with him.
Yep.
I think that'd be a good thing. Yeah.
Everybody have a good night.
Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been fun.
Bye.
Bye.